is on.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Charles Carter, and we're going to start the Stunt Hangar chat this evening. And let me invite some of my other friends here. They're going to come in from the Stunt Hangar forum. And if you'd like to join us, that's how you would come in, is through the Stunt Hangar forum. You have to register with using your real first and last name with a space in between the first and last name. And if you have a mic and a camera, you'll be able to join our conversation. If not, you can participate on the YouTube side in the chat. There's a chat box there. You can ask questions, or sometimes people have their own dialogue going on. So let me invite my friends in. I know they've been waiting for me, and we'll get this thing going. So, post. All right. So, I'm going to pull out the pop chat so I can keep an eye on what's going on over here. Let's see, pop the chat out. Great. All right. Okay, so the chat box is open on the YouTube side. I see what's going on there, and I'll keep an eye for that. And hopefully, if everything works, people can come in. Anyways, I've been working on these mold bucks, and I am finally finished. I finished the bottom mold buck a couple of weeks ago, and yesterday I basically put the finishing touches on my top mold buck. And this is a mold that I made out of a combination of plywood and hardwood and styrofoam, and it's the shape um, of the top of the fuselage and also the bottom of the fuselage. And I'm going to use some 1/16 balsa to around this mold. That's going to give me the shape that'll match to the fuselage sides. And I'm really excited about this. I think the mold bucks came out very nice. And I have a comment from Jack Snavely. Hey Charles, and all else in hangar or shop and all around the world. Hello Jack. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate knowing that the YouTube side is working. Hopefully the Stunt Hangar forum that posting should work. I know I spoke to a gentleman earlier. I know he was refreshing his screen, and he was waiting for me to get this thing set up. So I hope they're not having a problem coming in. Let's see here. That is that is the right mutual vulnerabilities. Okay. So I don't know why I don't see anybody else yet. But anyhow, um, hopefully I'll have some company. Come on in, please. Come on in. So, anyways, all right, here we go.
Hey, how you doing, Carter?
How's it going?
All right. You're looking good. Got a new haircut, did you?
Yeah, I thought I'd change the haircut just a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a little bit
Yeah, I can
different.
see that.
Yeah,
You moved the part over a little, didn't you?
yeah. I thought I'd move the part just a little bit. Just to give me some swag.
Yeah, yeah. You actually made it a bit wider.
Yes. All right. Hey, Peter. Thanks
Hey,
for coming in.
I was all ready to start up another one if nobody came and popped any
Thank
note.
you. Thank you, Peter. Hey, Gary. Thanks for coming in, Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Yeah.
I'm
Hi.
glad to see that it's working.
Yeah, no, it's
See
working.
what I wore tonight just for
Hey, Mike.
Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Thanks for coming in. I had no internet, you guys. I was ready to start on time and went to hit my Chrome
Oh, gee, yeah.
browser, and I wasn't connecting. So I've been power cycling my gateway, and so sorry about that. I don't know if
Oh, that's okay.
they're doing some they're doing some things out here. I saw a notice. I'm with AT&T, and I saw a notice saying that it should clear up in 15 minutes, which
Ah,
it did.
Probably another one of those rolling blackouts because the wind stopped blowing up there.
Yeah, trust me, when internet's not working, my wife and my 3 kids all over me.
Well, that could be advantageous in a way.
Say it again?
So that could be kind of advantageous in a way.
Yeah, well, I definitely know how to get their attention.
Shut off the internet.
Yeah, I heard someone say, or someone quoted somebody that when you want to get your kids' attention, take away their phone chargers.
Oh yeah.
Eventually, they will come to you.
It used to be when I was a kid, they took away my ROC Coca-Cola and my moon pie, and I was in deep doo-doo.
Yeah. Well, my dad used to lock up his tools. I mean, for small stuff, which it was small to me, but it was my dad. He did not tolerate a tool being on the bench when it should be someplace else. They had to all be where they belong. And as a kid, I was just a young kid riding my bicycle, and I'd get ready to go work on my bike, and oh man, I must have left a tool out. So I'd have to go see my dad with my tail dragging between my legs, and I go, Dad, the bench is locked up. And he goes, you know why it's locked up? And I said, I must have left a tool out or something. He goes, yep. He goes, you got to put these tools away, son. So.
He taught you a good lesson. I've gone through in 30 years, I've gone through 3 different sets of tools. People, my wife or somebody needs something, they go get in my toolbox, they go use it, and I don't know where it goes. It never comes back. It's gone. And I looked at my toolbox now. I got a nice big toolbox. All the drawers are darn near empty. There's an old beat up battery post connector in one of the top drawers. But my screwdrivers, the ones that are left are all wore out. Anyway, and you can't jump on your wife. Well, no, I won't go there.
Yeah, we won't go there.
Must have a tool eater.
Let me turn my phone volume down. Okay. I think
I had to go buy a whole new set of tools here this last month.
Oh man, that must have set you back a pretty penny.
It does, and I mean it's like little things like screwdrivers and crescent wrenches and pliers and cutters. Sometimes it's box end or open end wrench or something. Socket sets, gone.
Yeah. Oh, your wife must be really handy if she needs to use all those tools.
She was.
It's not anybody in my house because nobody in my house touches my tools but me. It's me. I do it.
Well, she was very handy, but she was. I mean, she took care of her own car for years. She was very handy with that kind of stuff.
Wow.
But she wasn't handy at putting the tools back.
That's me.
Someday I'm going to find a drawer or something that's going to be like, wow. Hi, Bob.
Hi.
How you doing, John?
How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you, Ben?
All right. You got a new haircut too, didn't you?
I gave myself a shave my head this morning.
Charles and I were talking about widening out the part line,
I got them numbered, so every week I get a different one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This hair over here, that one there. Yeah.
Number 3 today. Not gonna.
I just let mine keep growing until they get really long, That way I go like that and they stay there.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
Mike, I wore this for you tonight, buddy. He ain't even got a sound on. We could talk bad about him and he wouldn't even know it.
I think so.
He'll watch it later on YouTube.
Yeah. I noticed he took a picture on his boy's birthday, And he made mention that his boys got to stop beating him at combat. So I want to hear the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time before.
Easy way to accomplish that, just leave them home.
Yeah. Well, he says he's his best flying buddy he ever had, and I understand that.
Wow, that sounds so awesome.
Yeah.
I have kids that I just about to pay them to come out and fly with me.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it?
Well, it's kind of hard to. I mean, they enjoy their electronics, their the Chromebooks, their phones, their it's like
Hide all the chargers. Hide all the chargers.
yeah. That's right. Hide all the charges. That's right. Looks like someone's trying to come and join us.
Who's PB?
Phil Belly.
Oh,
Here I is.
hi, Phil.
Hey.
Hey, Phil, we can't see you.
Well, let me see if I can figure out why that is. If I can get my camera, if I can get the controls to come up. Uh-oh. Didn't want to do that. Well, for some reason, it's not wanting to come up.
It should be right down in the bottom center of your
It should be, but all's down there is my. Well, that's weird.
That is
All
weird.
right, let me sign out and sign back in and see what I can find out.
All
Be
right.
right back. Be
Hey,
right
trying.
back.
I'm trying.
Hi, trying. He must have his sound off too.
Maybe just working on it.
On what?
I heard him say something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, so hi.
Your volume is really
Hi.
low.
My volume is low.
Yeah.
It's getting better.
I don't think I can change it. My mic is right here.
That's better.
That's
You're sounding better.
Hey, there's
Hey,
Phil.
Phil.
Yeah.
All right. Now you're in living color, Phil.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you what, it's been one of those weird days. Plumbing problems, and then I just got I did something I haven't done in 10 years. I got a brand new Brodak prop, took it out of the pack, put it on the balancer. It was perfect.
Wow.
I dropped it off the side of the counter. I don't know how I knocked it off, but I knocked it off, broke the chip off of it.
Oh no.
13.5 Brodak, busted the side off of it. I said, this is gonna be one of those days. So,
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
anyway,
too bad.
I see Mr. Bob has joined us tonight. How are you, Brother Bob?
I'm
Good to
good.
see you.
I'm good.
Good to see you.
It's better to be seen than viewed, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard
First
that.
of all,
Although
I heard that.
I figure if a propeller broke just from falling off of a counter, I don't think you probably wanted that prop on the airplane.
Oh no,
anyway.
something else
Yeah.
fell on it. Something else fell on it.
Ah,
It wasn't all by itself. When I knock something off, I knock something off.
You do the number. Did you get those plans printed?
I did, and they're beautiful. That's a big airplane.
It is.
I had no idea that plane was that big, but it is 57 inches, but that's a big 57 inches. I didn't believe it was 57 inches until I got the ruler out and measured it myself. I said, my heavens, that is a large bird. I mean, I'm used to Pathfinders being, there's small little airplanes, and then all of a sudden this LE is huge.
Well, it's the last edition. That's what the LE stands for.
Yeah, it's going to need a big motor. I was hoping to fly it on a 40. That one needs a little bigger motor than that.
So what you're telling me is you found the path?
Oh, bad. No, the problem, Bob, is I went to a contest. Well, I went to a contest 2 years ago and saw something, and it stuck in my head. And I went last weekend, and Tran was there again. And, oh, brother, I had an ear infection and could not fly. He offered to let me fly his plane, and I said, I can't even look up and not get sick. But next time he offers, I'm going to fly that airplane. Lord, that thing's pretty. And it just, I don't know how he did. I didn't get to stay, but I'm telling you, that plane was the class of the field. It just really looked good and flew nice. Even my wife does not get impressed too often, said, I kind of like that one. So,
Wow.
Getting back the engine size, Phil.
Do what?
I'm getting back the engine. I think Gordon was flying on a 40 ultralight. Either that or it was a 51. It's one of the two.
Well, I have a 40 I have a 40 ultralight in my little bear. It's just a Yeeski Nobler with a bear wingspan. I just took a rib out of I don't remember what it came out of. I think it was, anyway.
Well,
Built my own rib, made my own ribs for it. It looked kind of like the ribs in the Geobolt. It was one of the Geobolt rib. That's what it was.
oh, okay.
And made a wing for it and put the 40 light in it. It's a Yeeski Nobler size, but it's got the 40 light in it. I bought the 40 light to go in a Genesis Extreme, and then ended up putting electric in that, or I'm putting electric in that. And I've got several, like I told you, I got several projects downstairs started.
Sure.
Not painted. I've started painting, and every time we get everything all set up to paint, it rains. This has been the wettest year.
Well, check with Gordy. Check with Gordy what he had in his. You know, but I run a Stalker 51 in mine, and I got plenty of power with that.
I have a 51 downstairs. I have a 51 I got from Bear, and maybe that'd be a good one to put in it.
Yeah, that's what I run.
I was looking for something special to put that in because my Bear has a 65, so that would be interesting. I was going to do the big Bear, and when I blew the drawings up, I just never could make it look right.
Yeah.
Well, Bear told me the dimensions, and I just couldn't make it look right.
I just was curious. Did you get all of the parts files printed?
I sure did. I got two plans of that, 2 parts file plans, and the 2 pages. And I don't think there was any corruption to do with it. The first time I went to print it, she said my drive was corrupted. I've downloaded it onto 3 different computers, not had any problem. My wife's done it; she didn't have any problem. Yeah. She never has any problem. My wife is the computer genius around here. So I think the girl just didn't want to run them for me.
That reminds me, Walter Umland. I did forget what set of plans. I think it was his the Sterling Spitfire. And anyway, he took it over to where he normally got his work done. And at that time, he didn't have a plotter, so he'd go in there and if he was doing a run of 200 kits or 150 kits, he'd have 200 of them printed out. So the guy was making money off him, but he came in there and he printed it out, and Walter took it home and he checked it out and got the ruler and the measure on it. Said, "This thing is all messed up. It's not right." Took it back, and the guy printed it up again. And he finally got to the point he started saying, "Well, it's the CAD guy. He doesn't know what he's doing."
Oh, really?
Yeah. And when Walter told me that, I said, "You tell the guy quit trying to print to the paper size, and to learn how to read that little
scale at the bottom.
Scale on the bottom, and how to figure how to get it to the right size, because there's nothing wrong with that set of
That's as pretty a set of CAD drawings as I've seen."
Well, thank you.
Aren't you making them of the on a CAD package?
Say what?
You make your drawing off of a CAD package, right?
I'm sorry. Say that again. I'm not. For some reason, I'm having trouble understanding it.
You make your drawings with a CAD software, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so they should be perfect.
Yeah. The thing is the guy didn't want to have to do any figuring. Didn't want to have to sit there and lay it out right. Your guy, obviously, Phil, knows what he's doing. But
he's pretty good.
Yeah, this guy, for Walter, was claiming that he knew what he was doing, but then it was me that didn't know what I was doing. Walter wound up buying a plotter and started doing his own. Didn't take him long to figure out how to do it.
And the first one I really had problems with was the Pathfinder Twin. I didn't even know about the airplane until Flying Models was gone. And then all I had was a magazine article. Well, you got to take it out. You got to open up the magazine, and because it's bowed in the center.
Yeah.
So I took it to a guy, and he did it. He printed it for me, and I got it home, got looking at it, and I said, "Something don't look right." And I got out a ruler and started looking at it, and one, it's on 3 pages.
Right.
And well, no 2 pages matched. The
Right.
scale was different. I said, well, I'm sure the magazine did that so people wouldn't do this. But
Right.
since every one of them's got a scale on it, it shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
So I took it back to the guy that I'd always gone to, but he'd been on vacation, and he said, "Oh heck, that's nothing. I have it for you in a few minutes." About 20 minutes, he came out, $14.95, 3 pages.
Good man.
Yeah,
Hang on to him. He knows what he's doing.
he's a good fella. I've printed up a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got it, and I'm glad you're happy with it.
I'm gonna have to build that one. That's pretty. I gotta finish Bob's XLTC first. That thing is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just put it in the lineup. That's all.
That's it. Bob, what motor did you run in that?
With a Power 25, I believe. That might have been at first my Cobra. No, that was a Cobra 28, 26, 10.
Cobra.
Yeah.
28, 26, 10.
Yeah, now I switched over to all 35 millimeter motors. I'm running the badass 35, 15, 710 KVs and everything.
That's a pretty decent motor.
Oh, yeah.
35 what?
35, 15, 710 kV. They don't have a third number on that badass series. They just have KV.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I started looking into these jokers that Terran's running, and they look pretty interesting. I don't have one yet, but I'm looking forward to that. I've been running Cobras, and these things are a lot bigger barrels and lower KVs. So I think he's on to something. I'm gonna look at it and see. I don't know.
Well, the KV is dependent upon the battery you're using too.
Yeah.
That's correct.
See what I've done. I bought when they were on sale last year. I bought 4 of each of the 4 or 5 and a 6, 4 of each of the 2800 Thunder Powers, because that's what everybody told me. That's what everybody's running. So I said, well, okay, I'll just go ahead and get them while I can. And I got the four cylinder. I got the 4-cell plane running. The 5-cell plane is ready to run, and I'm working on the 6-cell plane. But this has been a busy year.
The 4-cell at 2800 is not going to be enough battery for most of those bigger airplanes.
No, it's in an Obra. I'm flying it in an Obra.
Should be fine then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot smaller airplane than the others, but there's the Crossfire, and the one of them's essentially an SV11. It's restyled to look like a Cavalier, but that's the one I got the 5-cell to go in, and then the 6-cell's going in the Super Sportster. So, and then I start thinking, trans airplane 6 cells. This could work.
Yeah, so, but it's light, and it's very thin on airfoil, so it's not.
Oh God, it's very light. It is very light.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it has a thin airfoil, so it cuts through the air very easily. It doesn't use a lot of energy.
Yeah. Well, as long as those batteries will work, I'm gonna try not to buy new batteries for a while, because, like I say, I bought 12 batteries at one shot.
Whoa!
I need to use what I'm using, what I've got for a while. But they sure are not. Well, I've got 8 of them are brand new. I've never used the 5s or the 6s yet. But we're sure wearing these 4s out. Lordy mercy. Bob, what have you been up to? I hadn't heard anything out of you in a while. I heard you got sick at the Nationals. Your back went out on you.
No, it wasn't my back. I had a pinched nerve with my neck, and it went down my shoulder, and was a lot of pain in my shoulder and arm. But that really wasn't what kept me from flying. Flying the airplane didn't really hurt. It was the fact that I couldn't sleep at night. And I was out for 4 days, and I got like maybe 3.5 hours of sleep in 4 days.
Wow.
Well, that'll do it.
I was just so fatigued, I just left.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Does the word zombie mean anything?
What'd you say?
I said, does the word zombie mean anything?
Yeah, really. I said,
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that, Bob.
It's all right. Okay,
Doing better now?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I went to a chiropractor, and he fixed me right up, and I'm back doing everything. I'm going to a contest this week, as a matter of fact.
That's one in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe came out to my contest last year, so I'm going to go to his. I mean, I will do anything almost to stay out of New York. I will not drive in New York City. I finally coerced Luciano into driving, so and he owed me one because I helped fix his airplane. So.
You sucker him into it, huh?
Yeah, actually, he offered, and he's good at combat driving. I'm not.
It's good at combat driving. Is that when you're driving it?
Yeah. Have you ever driven in New York City?
Yeah, one time. That was enough for me.
What I mean, it's combat driving.
When they're 3 lanes over and they need to turn left, they turn left. If you happen to be in the way, they turn right in front of you.
Sounds like Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago's almost that bad, and Winston-Salem's getting that bad lately. I don't know what the heck's going on, but
that's how you turn. That's how you turn left in Bucharest, in Romania.
You just go, huh?
If you want to turn left, and you have a 2-lane road, right? You come from the right side. You make the 3rd lane, right? You come across in front of everybody. You park over there. When the green light comes on, you bolt before the other guys from the other direction come over.
Good gracious!
Wow.
Good gracious! You're lucky to be here. You're lucky to have made it through all that.
They must have one heck of a birth rate to replace all those people that are dying on the road.
Yeah, I mean that.
Actually, my brother refers to it as controlled chaos.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Boy, that sounds like a good name for an airplane.
Hey, that is
I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one. Hey, Bob, thank you so for the advice of the Nats. Because there was one time when I said, this is not turning. I want to just move the battery. And said, well, just move it, see what happens.
Yeah, that's why I have adjustments. Everybody builds adjustments into their airplanes: adjustable lead-out guides, adjustable elevator horns, adjustable tip weight. All this adjustments are there, and nobody uses them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you got to try this stuff.
Yeah. So I ended up moving the battery back about 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
And was back in business. It just. And after the Nats, Matt Cullen helped me. He worked on a plane. I was charging batteries and he was flying and said, what do you want me to do now? We change this, change that. And we made a bunch of changes to it. And I was like, after that, I was like, why didn't I have this plane during the Nats?
Yeah, well, could you have done better?
I think so.
Well, you won.
Yeah.
He might have made the top 5 though,
I'll tell you what,
he won advance.
Yes, he did.
But get this.
We got an actual national champion here with us.
In Georgia, I beat Don Cromfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was 8th in Open.
Yeah.
And that was by 7 points or so.
Huh?
See, yeah, he'd have made the top 5.
So I don't know if I would made the top 5, but I would definitely qualify. That's my goal for next year. Just qualify.
Yeah. You got no choice next year. You got to fly Open.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to fly with the Sharks.
Yeah.
Got to fly in the deep end of the pool with the Sharks.
Like I said, the big bad hungry angry sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're all getting old,
Oh, we're all getting old, Bob.
Old sharks, they got teeth that come out.
Is Billy doing all right? Bob, have you heard anything about Billy lately? Is he doing all right?
Yeah, he's doing fine. He's got some health issues, but they're not life-threatening. It's stuff he's gonna have for the rest of his life. But he's fine. I just hadn't heard anything about him or anything in a while, and I said that don't sound right. No, he's right.
Billy's been the man for so long. If I don't hear something out of him, I wonder what's wrong.
He quit flying, and he's just doing the horses and music now.
Oh, okay.
Well,
as long as he's enjoying himself, that's what matters.
Yeah, well, Billy, he'll always enjoy himself.
Yeah.
He's always going to be looking for a place to happen.
To me, it's hard to imagine, like, you do something for a lifetime, right? And all of a sudden just drop it cold turkey and never look back at it.
I remember I met him in 1961. He won that year in senior, and he had been flying at the Nationals for several years at that time. And he had actually won. He won as a senior. He won the Walker Trophy. He beat Bob Palmer in '59. He's been doing it for decades and decades.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I guess he's entitled to retire.
I remember when he did that. I
remember reading about it.
I was just, I think, either his age or a year older than him, flying out in California. And I remember thinking, by golly, if a 16-year-old can do that, that gives me hope.
Yeah, and a couple of years before that, or a year before that, Art Pulaski did it too. He won with the Atom, so as a senior. So it's been done several times actually. Jerry Cipra did it as a junior, and then he had a Meeson. In '73, he won the Walker Trophy fly-off. He beat Raby. He was a senior and beat Raby. So it's been done a few times.
I hate I missed that one.
Was he flying his orange crate?
What's that?
Was Denny flying his orange crate?
No, he was flying the Magister.
Oh, that's a beautiful airplane.
The Fuga red one. He had two of them. He had a gray one and he had the red one. I always liked the red one better.
Yeah, I like the red one too.
Yeah.
I'd love to sing that. That was '73. I was in high school, but then I wasn't really into models at the time. I was into girls and cars, but I'd love to sing that because I think the world of Al Raby. Don't get me wrong; he's one of my heroes, and I do anything I could for him. But to see him get dusted by a junior, old brother, okay, even a senior, a 16-year-old, that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
If you want to hear it, I'll tell you a story about the that '59 win of Wearwidge's.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what year it was. It was VSC 8. What year was that, John? VSC 8.
Oh, it had to be like
80, 90.
84.
With 90 something. Anyway,
Yeah,
94. We can do the math. But at any rate, little known fact was that Billy, when he won the Nationals in '59, all his friends kind of gathered him up on their shoulders and carried him off the field to celebrate. He never had an opportunity to talk to Bob Palmer after the fly-off. And all these years went by, and this was '59, and then someplace in the mid-'90s, Bob Palmer came to VSC, and Billy was there, and it was the first time they spoke since Billy beat him in '59. And Billy was out on the field. Everybody was kind of gathered around him, and he was talking to everybody. And Palmer walked up and excused himself and said, in front of everybody, it was a very class act. He goes to Billy, he says, "Billy, I never had a chance to congratulate you for winning in '59. He says, "There's no question about it. You won by a mile." And that was the classiest thing for a guy, Bob Palmer, to come up and in front of everybody and give Billy that testimonial,
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great.
That was really nice.
I always thought Bob was kind of a class act.
Oh, yeah, total class act. I got to know him pretty well. We took a couple of car rides together, and he was a really nice guy. Very matter-of-fact gentleman, engineer type person. I don't know if you knew what he did for a living. He worked for Kelly Johnson at the Skunk Works.
Yeah, he worked a lot. He told me he made a model of the F-117, the first stealth plane.
Yeah,
he did flight tests with it, the RC model.
What he did, he also had a company called Vortex, which made pylon racers at one point in time. But what he did for Kelly and Lockheed was he was a fairing designer. He designed all the fairings for the SR-71 and for the Constellation and all the Shooting Star, all those airplanes. He did all the fairing work, all the things that faired the fuselage into the wing. That was all his work.
Going to 71, there was a bunch of them too.
Yeah.
That airplane's all fairings.
Yeah, he was quite the engineer,
Yeah.
Had to be.
Nice.
Can you explain his handle, Bob? I've heard something interesting about his handle, but I don't know what it looked like or how it worked.
When he was young, he was working for Yates, Madman Yates, and they were making kits, and it was a die cutter, and he got his hand caught in there and it chopped all his fingers off when he was just a kid.
Wow.
And so what he did was he made a handle that's strapped to his wrist, and the line's attached to the handle, but he couldn't grip it. It was just he had to move his wrist up and down or his hand up and down, and
It looked like a glove.
A glove,
yeah.
like a glove. And he flew that way out at VSC that year at VSC 8. He put on a demo, and he could still fly. I mean, he flew really smoothly. He didn't do the whole pattern, but he took a Chief and went up and flew very well using that system. You know, did very well.
Yeah.
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 I had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with him when he sent me his plans for the original smoothie, the second version, the one that he liked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of neat. It was all on butcher paper, and we were on the phone. I met him back when I was like 16, 17, 18 years old. I went to a contest. He Ed Southwick, Bob Heron, Bill Dick Williams. They were all there.
Boy, class act field.
Jim Mayfield and all those guys.
Yeah, all of those guys were there. And that's when I first realized that Bob had to use that glove. He had no fingers on that. I always wondered how he built such nice looking airplanes.
Yeah.
Very carefully.
Yeah.
They were beautiful. I always wondered how he painted so pretty. Because, you know, airbrush, left-handed and you're right-handed. Man,
Well,
that'd be a good trip.
He told me a story about his world tour, and it was kind of interesting. He says when he first went to England, the English pilots over there, they thought his plane was huge. His Thunderbird Thunderbird 1.
Thunderbird 2, he flew over there.
He had the one with the round cow.
No, and their upright engine.
I think he had the Thunderbird 2.
Inverted engine. Inverted engine.
Well, I know he flew the Thunderbird 1 with the round cowl over there.
Okay.
Wow.
And because he left it there and they refinished it, the original still exists in England.
Wow.
But
that's nice.
Anyway, they thought his plane was huge, and they didn't think that a 35 would fly it. Their number one flyer had a design called the 334. It looked kind of like a Focke-Wulf,
Mm-hmm.
and it was small. It was like 300 or 400 square inches. And when they saw that thing fly, when he put on a flight there, it just blew them away. Because
by today's standards, that's not a big airplane at all.
Yeah, but it was to them what they were used to flying.
Yeah.
Well, they had Fox 35s. What can you say? And I don't know. I can't. And Mercos and Fox 35. Neither one of them blessed with a lot of power.
Trying to remember, he basically ran the Fox.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't he play around with a couple other?
He ran Vico 35.
That's what I thought.
That's right. It was a Vico. That's right. He did run.
Yeah.
35.
Yeah, and the Vico 35 was kind of, I mean, we knew about it when I was a kid out there, but none of us flew with it, you know.
Yeah.
I heard about them, but I'd never seen one fly until I went to VSC. It's the first time I'd ever seen a Vico motor run on a plane.
Now, was a Vico a domestic engine, or was that
Vico 35.
Yeah,
made here in the U.S.?
Mm-hmm. I can't remember who had it, but Ed Southwick, I was really figuring he had the most beautiful. He was flying a Skylark, and his buddy had a Lark. And I figured, well, we're going to get to see what a McCoy 35 can do.
Bill Biles had the Lark.
That's it. That's it. And they both had Super Tiger 60s that year.
Well,
I'm sorry, Super Tiger 46.
I know that the original Lark and Skylark, they're both Ed's design.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Heron, that contest with Bob Heron showed up there. He had a bunch of kits for sale. The whole $12. Boy, I wanted one of those the worst way, but $12 was a month and a half wages for me. But anyway, they ran, Eddie ran McCoy 35s, and then later they went to McCoy 40s when they became available.
Mm-hmm.
And they were breathed on by Dick McCoy himself, apparently. And you weren't going to go to the store and buy one just like it.
No, I got to run one of George Aldrich did a McGass 35 for me, and that is one nice McCoy. If I ever build something really special, I might think about putting that on it. But it's that's just not like any other McCoy I've ever seen. And when I was growing up, that's all I could afford.
Yeah.
The McCoys were $12. The Foxes were $13, and OS was $14.
Yeah.
95, of course. And I ran McCoys because that's all I could afford.
I got my McCoy on sale for $375.
I remember at one point in time they listed for $495.
Yeah. I was blessed in that Dick McCoy, we had a little contest at my little club that we had out there, and he came out and judged for it. And he sat me down, and he says, "I see you flying, running a McCoy 35." He said, "I'm going to tell you how to run it." And he told me exactly how to run it, how to, so it would last long. And that sucker, I don't know how many flights it had on it, but it was a bunch. And but it was like you were in a total 4-stroke. You pull up in the wing over, and you get about maybe 30 feet in the air to finally kick in. But you'd free flight, the last 10, 15 degrees across the top. You'd free flight, but it had an awesome 4.24 brake. And once you got used to not being afraid to pull up with it going that slow, it was actually quite controllable. I know, Bob, you remember that style of flying.
I remember the style. I never actually did it, but I remember the style. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was more the East Coast style. Gene Schaefer, who always ran a little faster, a little crisper. He always ran a little faster. I remember that Jim Kostecki used the McCoy 40s to good effect. In his most of his airplanes. In particular, the second place he did in 1968 with Formula S. That was the McCoy 40.
Was that a McCoy 40?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was it a lightning bolt or?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I've got one lightning bolt, and then Tom Lay breathed on that one for me, and that's one McCoy that I can run a muffler on. He did something to the metallurgy in the piston, hardened it or did something, but you can run a muffler on that one.
Yeah, he heat treated the sleeve for you.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, he did that to my Tiger 60 and my Tiger 51, and I had two motors out there when he passed. I figured I'd lose them, but they sent them both back.
Wow.
Whoever was taking care of his stuff, I got them both back. So they were. He was a class act.
Yes, he was.
First time I met him was at VSC, and I'd been talking to Bob, aggravating Bob, and he'll tell you I didn't, but I know he thought at the time I did. Anyway, I went over and I turned around, and there's this guy coming to me with a baseball hat on. So help me, it's got a propeller on the top. A beanie with a propeller on the top. And that was Tom Lay. He was just a character.
Yeah.
Nobody had more fun than Tom.
Did you see this hat that got a little model airplane on later dates?
Oh, that's what I remember.
Yeah, I got to see that. But that one, after,
He used to give out a trophy or an award at VSC every year for the person who had the most fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, didn't they have to say, I have stunts always on my mind?
Yeah.
What's
See,
that?
the thing about Tom Lay, once you met him once and you'd seen the beanie, the second time you saw him, it really didn't surprise you so much. Because you knew this guy's crazy, but he's a lot of fun. But the first time you met him, it was just, holy cow, what is this? But he was something else.
When Gordon and I showed up at VSC with the All-American Eagles, Gerke design.
Mm-hmm.
Tom got wind of it, and he had Gerke's original All-American Eagle.
I remember that. But it was all in it and everything.
Oh yeah, and he told us the story. Did he tell you the story about how he came to get that?
No.
Apparently, Gerke went to the Nats, and he took his Novi 4 and the All-American Eagle. He decided there which one he was going to fly. So he wound up flying the Novi 4. And during his wife went off shopping and spent all his money, or too much of his money. And so he's there, and they don't have enough money to get home on.
Oh my gosh.
So he turned around and sells the All-American Eagle to Tom Lay.
Wow.
Tom Lay took it, put it up in his rafters, and there it sat. Well, when he took it down, it was sad. And then you could see the plane was there, but all the covering and everything was all cracked and peeling and all that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm teaching him to bring his wife to a contest.
Well,
that's how
she wasn't his wife much longer, I can tell you that. And right now, if you went and looked at his house, you could tell that he doesn't have any trouble getting home from any contest anywhere on the planet.
He's done well.
I went up when Kostecki passed away. I was invited to speak at his memorial by his girlfriend, and I stayed with Dave. And his house is amazing. It's just really amazing. Well, and his house is amazing, and his street rod is amazing. He's got amazing stuff,
Well, his All-American Eagle is amazing too.
All those RC airplanes, everything was immaculate. Just beautiful stuff.
Yeah, that is still probably one of my best flying models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to tell you guys, Samantha got engaged.
Oh,
Oh my gosh!
Wow. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Steve.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think they're kind of young, but
Do you like the guy?
a lot, yeah.
Well,
That's
good.
half the battle.
That's good.
He's a good guy. I mean, hell, they might as well get married. They live together, so.
Yeah.
Well, does he like her airplane? Does he like her flying?
He doesn't. He tried to last year. He didn't get to go to the Nats, but he was behind her practicing and going to the Nats for the last time as a junior. And he doesn't tell her what she can and can't do. He's okay with it if she flies or she doesn't fly or whatever. And
Well, that's half the battle.
now, she would be the same way about him. She's pretty good at letting him do stuff, but I mean, she's not particular on homework. It's like I gotta say, man, you're gonna marry your mom. You got your homework done before you go here or there. Because that's the way I always was. With her, that my old saying is that we do the things we have to do so we can do the things we want to do.
Yeah. Right.
I've heard that all my life.
And
Jim Smith's here, but he doesn't have his camera on.
yeah, he's probably in bed again. You in bed again, Jim?
I just got a text message from Jim. He was asking if he was on Jitsi and how do you private message. So, Jim, what you want to do is go up to your screen, top right-hand corner where the 3 dots are. Click on the 3 dots, and then there's a menu that drops down that says send private message, and then you can pick who you want to send it to. So I don't know if his audio is working or not. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think he might be having issues, and that's why he's texting me.
Yeah, he's also on chat. It says, Tryon, can I private message you?
Well, I can hear him.
I can hear him. He's just it's very quiet. It's kind of muted, but I can still hear you, Jim.
Say it again, Jim. We'll all be quiet.
Well, I wanted to ask Tryon a question, and I wanted to ask Peter a question. I wanted to ask Tryon, what KV motor is that Joker that you have?
Mine is 510.
Okay, I saw that on a website. I thought that was probably it.
Mhm.
And hey, Peter, I don't have the 3 dots on my iPad. I get 3 dots at the bottom, but it doesn't show me any private message.
Do you see your window where it says JS?
Yeah.
Do you see 3 dots in the top right corner of that window?
Well, they're not really in the top.
Peter, you cannot do it on your own window.
No,
if you want to
can't?
send, if you want somebody in a chat here a private message, you go to their window.
That's what you just
and you
said.
find the 3 dots.
Yeah.
Okay, so they would go. He would go to whoever's window he wants the private message and go to. There's 3 dots on the top right corner of the windows that if you're looking at all the different windows of everybody, whoever you want to send the private message to, that's the one you would click on their 3 dots.
And you can even pick them out. It says.
Well, I'm on a new iPad and I don't get 3 dots.
No,
not on your window where it says JS.
No,
but if you look
I'm clicking
at a
on
window where it says Bob or Tryon or Philip or
I
Steve.
I don't even get names. I just see your pictures.
See, I don't get them on my iPad either.
All right. Hey, Jim, you got to go to the right hand, the bottom right hand, and there's 4 little squares like a pot.
Yeah.
And you hit that, and that'll make all the pictures bigger, and they'll all come up at one time. And then you can see them 3 dots on the people's pictures.
Run that by me one more time. Hey, Bob Hunt, how you doing?
Hey, Jim, how are you guys?
Okay, on the bottom, you'll see 4 squares in a box on the
bottom right.
On the bottom right, the most left hand of the deals there. You'll see.
I get 3 dots and I click on it. And it says,
No, 3. They're big dots. It's in like a box.
I don't see 3. I don't have 3 dots in a box.
I don't get them on mine either.
Oh, you don't on yours?
It's an iPad.
Hold on.
New iPads don't do that.
It's Apple, so they might have different menus, different stuff.
It is.
Hold on now. Oh geez, no, we can't do that. You see these four dots right here?
Oh God, I ain't been tripping in years.
That's the one you click on.
Oh, I missed that somehow, and I had a million windows open.
Yeah. That was wild.
All I wanted from you, Peter, was I put the new King Orange flyer up on Stunt Hangar.
Okay.
And I was going to print one out for you and come up to see you and give you one so you can go talk to your company. So I was hoping you could send me your address.
Where's King Orange going to be this year?
Same place it was last year at the Little River Flying Homeowners Association.
Oh, okay. That's about 10 miles, probably not even 10 miles where my dad grew up on the farm.
Yeah, it's real close. It's about 15 minutes away from Lake City, and you know that's right where I-10 and I-4 come together.
Yeah,
I know where that is.
Yeah, that's where my dad grew up. I got cousins and stuff that live in Lake City and Fort White and something Butler or whatever, all right in there. But that's where all the family farms were.
Yeah, Mike, I got one of those sound amplifiers from my iPad here, but it doesn't sound like it's amplifying anything. Maybe I don't know where my mic is. It's little. It's hard to see.
Well, we hear you pretty good, Jim.
You hear me pretty good?
Yeah, I mean,
you're nice and clear. It's just you're real soft.
What do you mean I'm nice and clear? I'm a JS.
Mike, you got your mic muted or something.
Hey, Jim, I
hear you yet.
A message with my address.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. I don't know how to get the private message. I guess I go to chat, right?
So Jim,
I got
I
it.
really
I
don't know
got
how
it,
you
Peter.
get one. I just know how you send one.
Jim, did you install an app on your device for volume control, or are you using something else?
Well, I I installed a device, a piece of software that said it was a sound booster.
Okay, from Google Chrome.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, did it add a little puzzle piece icon to your toolbar? Is that what it looks like?
A puzzle piece, huh? I don't know.
It looks like a
I don't
puzzle
want to.
piece. That's the well, whatever extension you installed, open it and then click on the actual volume control, and you can turn it up, and that will make your device louder.
Okay.
You have to physically, once you've got it installed, you got to click on it, and then there's going to be a little slider bar with a speaker, and the more you move it, the louder your device is going to get.
Okay. Well, I
So
don't know. I don't know if
maybe you've got it installed, but you just haven't actually turned it up.
Yeah, maybe.
See if that helps.
Well, I gotta find it first, but I don't want to get in the way of the model airplane stuff.
Have you by any chance looked at the on mine? If your home button is to the right, it'll be to the left at the top.
I
You
don't
got-
have I don't have a home button.
I don't know. I got a new one. Mine still has the button. But
Well,
you go up. There's two.
I got a 2020 and it doesn't have a button. You swipe
iPad.
up. You swipe up. It's like what you did with your home button.
Was this an Apple tablet you're on, Jim?
Yeah, it's an iPad. It's a 2020 iPad.
He's got the newest one.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different. I do normally know how to get to Google extensions, but
It should still have two buttons on the side of it that are your volume controls.
Well,
yeah.
It's just like an 11.
No, Phil, that's not what we're talking about. He installed an external app to boost the volume on the device. I had to do the same thing on all my Chromebooks. It's an app, and then you open the app and you slide the tab over, and it nearly doubles the volume on your device. It overrides the internal volume and microphone and allows you to power boost it. So he's got to open the app that he installed and then adjust his settings there.
Okay.
Not the actual volume control on the device.
How many people use Apple products to get on here? 2.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about getting the new Apple phone when it comes out, but I don't know if I want to change over to Apple or not. I mean,
well, you'll find you end up with watches and the phone, and you end up with a pad and all kinds of neat stuff. But,
it's hard to get used to. Everybody who changes has such a rough time changing over.
Oh, that's bull.
Yeah.
I worked on the highest tech electronics the city had, but don't ask me to operate the crap. But I could figure out how to work this, and if I can do it, you can.
Yeah, it's easy.
It's all intuitive. Anyway, it's all intuitive. All that stuff is designed so a monkey can do it. You put it. I mean, it's intuitive. That was Steve Jobs' whole idea, man. Was it'll just be a natural extension of your hand, and you'll learn to operate the device without any real training. You just start playing with it, and you figure it out.
A couple of days.
Yeah. That man was totally wild in some things, but he was so smart. He had his act together.
I got a Google phone, but it has a mind of its own. It's truly a smartphone, and it just changes shit in my phone all the time and screws everything up.
That's the reason I got Apple. Mine was a smart AWS phone. It would drop calls. It would drop. It's like it didn't like people. It would just, their information would just come off the phone. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. It turned out I left the thing in my pocket, and I was getting around high tension wires and scrambling everything inside it. Oh. And I didn't understand, but I'd really getting upset with the phone. So I went to Apple and talked to them, and they said, well, ours won't do that. And theirs didn't do that in the last 2 years I was there. But it's because they have filters that the other phones didn't have. But
Okay.
Well,
whatever
the main,
works. Whatever
the main
works.
advantage to an Apple is Windows 10 is used. And it's just more secure. It has a Face ID and all that kind of monkey business. But
You got to talk into a different part of your tablet there, Jim.
Well, my favorite thing about the Apples is every time I get on my regular computer, it has to update. And this never does. This does that at night when you're not on it, rather than as soon as you want to get on it. Mine always says, "Do not turn your computer off." And then 30 minutes later, if you're lucky, you can get on the computer and look something up. And this thing you turn on right now, and it says, "Be sure and plug it in tonight. Updates will be entered later tonight." And the next morning you get up and it's been updated and you're ready to go. You don't lose time working on it.
My desktop's that way. I got Lavono or whatever.
Yeah.
And it does it all at night. But my HP tablet, every time I try to get on it, the son of a bitch is updating, and it takes hours.
Yeah.
And that's why Samantha got rid of it. She hated that thing.
Steve, that's 2 swear jar donations in the last 1 minute, buddy.
Where's my jar at? Hey guys, Rusty just called me. He is going to join us shortly.
Oh, good.
What was his problem Friday?
Tired.
Friday we was having problems. Jitsi and YouTube have made some changes. I mean, we couldn't even. I don't know if you noticed tonight, the title for the meeting in Jitsi was strange, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't type in, what I normally would type in. So I just left it, whatever was it. I just hit go and went with that. So I think our title is some strange mutual vulnerabilities test first.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that's all about. So that was
we're researchers tonight.
Friday night, he came on there and said that it was going to be, came on YouTube that it was going to be at 10:10.
Yeah.
And about, I don't know, 10 minutes to 10, a storm hit here. And I didn't have power until late last night.
Well, you didn't miss anything. I tried to get on until 10 minutes to 1, and it never did come up.
I know one thing, though. I'm never moving to the East Coast because that's the worst storm I've ever been through. And I thought my windows, the hail and everything, my windows were going to break out and stuff like that.
Wow.
It got probably 50 holes in the siding of my house. And actually broke, I don't know, my windows are the double pane windows, and it's got J-channel. It busted the plastic on the windows. It broke out the back light. It destroyed my truck. And it only lasted for about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes. And I can't believe that people with hurricanes go through that shit for hours and hours.
Who'd you piss off, Jared, bud?
I tell you, you know what? And it's really
You don't want to
crazy.
piss that guy off,
A quarter mile north of me, there was a few leaves on the ground. 2 miles south of me, a few leaves on the ground. A mile south of me, everything is destroyed. We had a big old cemetery there. There's not a tree left standing in that cemetery. It's knocked over all the headstones, and it actually busted the wind busted a telephone pole off.
Wow.
I mean, I just couldn't believe the wind and how, but I thought it was a tornado. I mean, it was the worst sounding shit I've ever heard in my life. But like I said, it was 10 minutes, 15, it was gone. My whole yard was full of hail and floating.
It's 2 more swears.
What?
The funny thing is, when I talk to somebody who lives over there, they're scared of earthquakes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been here since '61, and I hadn't experienced anything like what you've experienced.
Yeah, we had the worst earthquake we've had in years in North Carolina. Well, by the way, we have 100 a year average. I looked it up. We have 100 earthquakes a year, but you usually never feel them.
Okay.
I got up one morning, was sitting on the toilet, and it felt like somebody was shaking the toilet. And that was a 5 point something earthquake. So I
You
thought,
know,
well, that's three that I felt in my life.
I lived
And,
in Alaska for about 10, 15 years. And one of my friends had been there in 64 for the Alaska earthquake. He said when that quake hit, he went running outside. They had 110, 120 foot tall spruce trees there, and they're whipping and hitting the ground on each side like that.
Whoa!
Wow.
And he says the ground would open up and then slam shut. It was like waves on the ocean. But it'd reach a peak and it'd open up and slam shut. Gravel go shooting up in the air. Yeah, he said it was bad. He said he knows there are a lot more people died than they knew about because they just never found them because they fell in those holes.
Whoa, that's scary.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
I was sitting in a hotel room in Sitka, Alaska, watching the '89 World Series when the earthquake hit San Francisco.
Yeah.
We happened to be on leave in Alaska, and we had all rented a room so we could watch the series that night. And that's when that earthquake hit San Francisco.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to stop in San Francisco on our way back to San Diego, and we did not go. They didn't want it.
Not. You ain't plumb crazy.
So
yeah, that was it hit right at a bad spot in San Francisco. That's all fill there. You know,
Good grief.
that it was built on the field and all that, and that just I don't know if you ever seen that test they do it where they shake it like that and the water comes up and the ground liquefies with the water and flows, and that's what happened in San Francisco and parts of it.
Well, my mom and dad, when he got stationed in San Diego, they had their first earthquake, and I guess it was like 5:30 in the morning. And my mom said the bed was shaking and stuff like that. So my dad woke up and said, "Liz, what in the hell are you doing?" I was jumping up and down in the bed or whatever.
You know, when I was a kid, I think I was probably about 12 years old or so, and I slept in a bunk bed with my brother on the bottom and I was on the top. And I think the earthquake hit there in Southern California. That would be about 1950, 6, 55, somewhere in there. Yeah, 55. Anyway, my folks went running in because the things were shaking and banging and everything. And that bunk bed was dancing all over the room. And there I was, sleeping right through it.
Yeah.
Had an aftershock the next day. I think it was like a 4.5 or something. And it was very noisy and really, really shook the house.
What's going on, Peter? Oh, I think I've seen this movie. Is this a movie, Peter?
2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had 2 earthquakes in Michigan, and I missed them. Well, I didn't really miss them. The one, I was in bed, and I had a water bed, and I guess it doesn't transfer through, and I didn't know nothing about it. And the next one that everybody was really scared about or whatever, I was in my car. I never felt it in my car when I stopped. People are outside of their houses and everything, and I'm like, what the hell's going, you know?
I used to have a car like that.
Yeah.
Well, you don't feel it when you're driving down the road unless it's really, really bad, you know?
But yeah, I don't know what it was here. It was like a 1 or a 1.5 or something on that scale. And they had everybody in Michigan outside their houses because they thought their houses, you know, were going to fall down and shit like that.
The state could tip, you know, they'd just slide right into Lake Michigan. You know?
Yeah.
And the Upers would have to block it and hold you up.
It would be the wreck of the Edmund SV-11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that when they do the rocket launches, that Carl DeGraff was, I watch him on YouTube and stuff, but the big water tanks they have there, or the, you know, alongside a launch pad, just before they fire them, they fill a big pit with water because it absorbs the sound waves. They said if they didn't, it destroys. They figured that out a long time ago in Germany when they were trying to launch and these rockets would explode on launch pad. It was the sound regenerating off the ground back up into the rocket motors that would destroy the motors. So they flood a big pool.
Huh. Interesting. Wow.
Underneath the rocket.
That is interesting.
Peter, I gotta say, you were so quick on the draw, Peter. It's amazing. I mean, it doesn't matter what subject we're talking about. You're like right on it. I don't know how you do that.
You better be careful opening files on your computer really fast, though, Peter. You might open the wrong one and share something you don't intend for everybody to see.
We fill up that curse jar in a minute.
That's straight from YouTube, and the only reason I even knew where to go was I was just with this whole COVID thing. Everybody's like hunkering down at home. I've been watching a lot of older movies, and it was like, oh, that's the movie 2012 where everything falls apart. We have mega earthquakes in California, and the Yosemite National Monument goes up in smoke. So I figured, hey, everybody's talking about that. I can do some interesting visuals while they're speaking.
Yeah.
Well, come on, Rusty. Where you at, Rusty? Come on in.
He's still hiding. Mike, what is this you're putting color in your combat ships now? I saw the one had red leading edge. You're becoming a stunt flyer, but you're still flying combat. I mean,
No, man, this is a Dawson. This is out of Texas. That's how he builds them. That's one of his ARFs. The other one, those are Russian F-2B planes. If you haven't figured it out, Sam and I went and flew combat this weekend.
I heard he beat you.
He did.
Wow.
oh, Daddy, you're gonna be a long time living that one down.
Yeah, it was his birthday. Well, actually, his birthday's today, but he wanted to go fly combat for his birthday. So yesterday we took a bunch of speed limit planes with us and went and flew a bunch of matches. It was just the two of us. And
wow.
we put two in the dirt and didn't break them too bad, but we did have one pretty spectacular midair where my streamer wrapped around his motor and it killed his motor, but my airplane was still running, spinning, and dragging Sam's behind it. They stayed airborne for about 15 seconds like that. Mine was just doing big donuts, dragging Sam's behind it, and then they crashed right on the edge of the circle. So he was pretty excited about that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you could have turned a little tighter, you might have got a cut on him before you went in.
He might have. And then the big thing for the day there was he had a rite of passage yesterday and officially became a man. And he flew his very first Nelson 36 powered combat ship.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so he hung on to it, and he put up about 4 flights with it. I short tanked him on all of them. I didn't give him a full 4-minute run. But, yeah, he's hooked. He wants to fly the Nelsons now. So flying the plane is one thing, but flying it in a match, that's another animal altogether. But we'll just keep giving him handle time on the Nelson, and who knows? He might be ready to fly fast combat at the Nats next year.
Wow.
Definitely hooked, and he was very excited. And we're glad that Lou Scavone out of Detroit gave Sam 2 of these Gambler airplanes, and we've had them for like 2 years. We've just been waiting until he was big enough to hang on to the Nelly. But, yeah, he's hooked. So maybe some fast matches in his future. We'll see.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Wow,
you have any video to show us, Mike?
I'm sorry?
You have any video to show us?
I don't. Okay. I don't, because of the way we were launching and using the Stooge, and I had to hold the Stooge down with the Nelson in it, and it was a 2-handed operation all the way.
Sure.
And by the time I would have been able to get my phone out and start the video, he was only doing like 40-second flights anyway. We were real short tanking him because 4 minutes is a long time the first time you fly one of those things. But we'll get some. His flights will get longer, and I will get some video of him at some point doing it.
Mike, Bert Brokaw, I don't know, maybe this is something everybody does, but he had the neatest stooge for launching combat ships. He had the foam wings, and he had the cradle that the foam wings are cut out of.
Flips.
He glued them together, and he mounted that on the table, and you just pull the plane out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that all the time.
That's basically what I've got. I've got a piece of carpet folded over and screwed down in the back, and the wing just slips in, and it's on a stand that I built that's about 4 foot high. And then I got like 40 pounds of weight that I put on the bottom that keeps it from tipping over. And so I will start Sam and launch him. My plane's in the stooge, ready to go. I start mine, walk out, pull it out, and then we can fly a match. And that works great for the half A's and speed limits. But the Nelson would hold the stand over. I couldn't just leave it. So I had to keep one hand on the airplane, start the airplane, hold the airplane, walk around to the side, needle it, take it out of the stooge, and launch it for him. So it was a pretty intense operation to get one in the air with just the two of us. A helper certainly would have been nice.
Yeah.
But we did it, and we were able to do it safely. But, yeah, I'll have to – I don't know about launching fast from a stooge anyway for us to fly matches against you. We really need to have another guy there. You don't want to be handling those things and passing them off. And, it's better to have a holder. You start your airplane and go, and the holder lets go. You don't want to be monkeying around because that's when mistakes get made and people end up like this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I was pretty proud of the kid, man. 12 years old, flying a Nelson. So, and he smoked me. We flew 7 matches, and he beat me like 4-3.
Wow.
Be careful if he makes the team for combat team for the worlds, because he'll run into them good-looking little Russian gals that fly combat.
Oh yeah.
What I'm thinking about this. Have you ever guys see it like on Facebook? It's a picture of a baby that goes like, yeah. I'm thinking that was Sam when he was beating his dad.
Yeah.
He was pretty stoked yesterday. I mean, we were flying real combat, and he was getting legit cuts. I mean, I wasn't giving him anything, so. But, I cut him too, so he just got a few more than I did yesterday.
Just had to get that in, huh, Mike? You cut him too.
Well, yeah.
He didn't want to get smoked,
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing, fixing combat.
You'll see Len.
Here, I'll show you one. Oh, I got it right here.
Hey, Trin, where do you buy those Joker motors at? You get them out of England?
It's a Linding gear. It's from Germany.
Oh, it's from
Germany.
Let me see here. Oh, man. This is the one we got tangled up with. Whoa. And if you can see it, look at the whole center rib with the bell crank is gone right here.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a parts plane now, I think. I'll keep it in case we need an outboard wing or something like that for something else. You can bandsaw them off right at the center rib and take the good wing and put it on a plane that has a bad wing. So this one's going in the parts pile.
Very good.
That doesn't look like that'd be that hard to fix.
I'll send it to you, John, okay? I'll let Sam know that you volunteered to fix it, because I'll tell you what, he was pretty upset when I told him it was going in the junk pile. He's like, yeah, you can fix it. I was like, no way, dude. It's the center rib. It's like the main component.
Main rib, yeah.
It's got the nose block. It's got the bell crank mount. It's all the string. I'm like, dude, you don't understand. He thinks he sees a little 2-inch piece of wood knocked out of it, and he's like, well, you could just plug that and put a patch in there. And I'm like, yeah, you don't get it, man.
No, I see what you're saying. I'm thinking stunt plane, and you're showing me a combat ship, totally different construction.
Yeah, and they're $40 a piece, man. So whatever. He flew that one in the Nats all day long. He made it through all the rounds in the Nats with that plane. We practiced with it a bunch, and we flew 6 more matches with it. So it's gotten its money worth out of it. It's it's what it is. They're disposable at some point. So wake up over there, Bob.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He's waiting for his bronze dog to come in and want to go out.
5 this morning, so
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what's taking Rusty so long. We spoke. He said he'll come in. So I don't know.
Hope he's okay.
Maybe he's having internet problems like I had earlier. But hey, Lynn, is that you, Lynn? I see your L, but I don't see your face.
Thank God.
Probably broke the camera.
Come on, Canada. Just turn your camera on.
I think he's working on it.
He's trying.
If you can't turn your camera on, turn your mic off. Turn your mic on.
Okay, the mic is on. The camera's on. Can you guys hear me now?
We hear you.
We hear you, but we don't see you.
I don't believe it. It's saying that my camera is on. Okay, so I'm going to go out and come back in.
All right.
You got a real bad connection, so.
Yeah, that's what I had to do tonight. I don't know why, but that's what I had to do tonight too.
Okay.
All right.
So, Bob, what are you working on these days?
What am I working on? I got 2 twins I'm working on.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Did you buy your evil twin back?
What's that?
Did you buy the evil twin back?
Evil twin.
I know that Sparky's buddy, Sparky had the evil twin. He had the second wind, and he had the evil twin. And
evil twin. Oh no, you're thinking of Buddy Weeder's airplane, Ryan's evil twin. That's not mine. That's
the one that you sold along when you sold your second wind.
That wasn't called the evil twin.
I didn't think it had a name yet, but that's just what I call it.
Yeah, no, big twin. No, I didn't buy that back. I'm building 2 new ones.
Is that the one you showed us a picture of the other day?
Jerry Hopp's airplane.
I'm building one of those. Yeah, that's the retract one I'm building is the turning point, just like Frankie Embriaco's that I showed you. And the other one I designed this last year. I haven't got a name for it yet. The project name is Easy Wind, but I think I'm going to call it Sweet Harmony because it's twin motors, So.
Evil Twin sounds good.
Huh?
Well, I'm still.
Evil Twin sounds good.
Well, that was Buddy Weeder, so Ryan's evil twin.
Oh, okay.
The son's named Ryan, so we called it Ryan's evil twin.
I'm still drawing on the mosquito, trying to get the new mosquito ready.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Can you guys see or hear me now?
It's gonna be large. It's gonna be large.
No, we just hear you.
There you are. There you are.
I can see you.
I see him.
I don't
All
right.
I don't see him.
I don't see him.
I see him.
want to see him.
Keep it clean, guys. Keep it clean.
Thanks, Mike.
Anytime, Len.
I know I can always count on you.
Absolutely. Always there for you, buddy.
All right.
Bob,
goodness.
Are you putting retracts in your twin?
Yeah, I'm going to have 1 second. Let me get back to this here. Yeah, but I'm not going to use the electric retracts. Those reflights. Those are toys. They're not robust enough, and they're designed.
At least go to the next size.
What's that?
I say you at least have to go to the next size up. But
even if you go to the next size, the gears inside them weren't that good. They're toys. They're designed.
Yeah.
They're designed for those ARF foamy air
pliers.
Yeah,
the pliers.
Yeah.
And what we're doing instead is I got a set of Robart 1020 retracts, and they weigh. We weighed one of the E-flight retract units with a strut in. It was 41 grams. The Robart with the strut in is 24 grams, and we can take some of the weight out of the gear for that. And then also we're going to put in a titanium landing gear struts. Rick Huff has a argon environment where we can bend titanium struts in this argon environment, and they're a lot lighter. And then we actuate them with some of these really small, high torque RC servos. They got like 5 or 6 gram servos that have, they're metal gears and they'll last forever.
Yeah.
We're just going to make 3 separate units in the airplane, you know.
Right.
Oh, I'm so glad you're not going to the air retracts. I remember.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Remember Bob Whiteley's Mustang with the gear half hanging down as he comes through the squares?
Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story about that. We were at a VSC when he was flying that, and he had the Jomar system in there, which, you know, actuated on sound. So when, you know, it had a timer thing. When it took off, the gear went up, and then when the engine shut off and the sound was gone, the gear would come down. So I figured I was going to go out and buy a whole bunch of air horns and, you know, see how long you could whip this thing.
Oh, that's messed up.
Did Gordon ever tell you about it's too much? He took it to Buckeye. First time he took it out there, and Jim Rhodes is flying it. And gets going along, and he runs out of fuel. Now, he had a timer on there to drop the retracts.
Yeah.
And the retracts are up. And the plane's coming in for a landing on, I mean, a really nasty, gravelly, hard top runway that hasn't been used in 40 years. And it was brand new. And so Jim is whipping it and whipping it and whipping it.
Wow.
That's a big airplane to be whipping. And
I'm sorry.
he whipped it. I don't know. To hear him talk about it, he whipped it for an hour, but it wasn't that long.
You can whip it for an hour.
But anyway, funny, his tongue's hanging out. He's having a rough time, and he Gordy, you better get in here, out here, because I'm going to land this sucker. And Gordon ran out there. If I've got the story right, and I could have messed up, but the outcome's the same. He gets out there, gets his hand on it, and he whips it around once in a while, and he and the gear came down.
One thing I like about that Fiorati system is now the new one, the latest version has got a circuit where no matter what happens to the motors, if they shut off anywhere in the flight, the gear comes down a lot. So that's a nice, because I was going to use a 2.4 gig radio, you know, system and retract and extend the gear that way. But now with this Fiorati, this latest Fiorati, you don't have to worry about it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Bob, you can make something that's independent of that. I mean, you can make your own time or whatever, you know.
I don't want a timer. I don't want timers, because if you have a timer and your motor shut off, you got to do what John was just saying. You got to whip the airplane till the gear comes down.
Not true. I mean, it's like you can use a photoelectric something like that, you know. And as long as it sees the propeller spinning, you know, once it identified that it's not spinning anymore, boom, and you know it's alarm and it drops the gear.
And that can be done for sure, but why? Now with the Fiorati system, you don't have to worry about it. It's going to come down no matter what.
Yeah, and I hear that they work well. So
yeah, it works great. So, has anybody seen that twin video that Fiorati has on YouTube?
No.
It's amazing. It is amazing. Is there any way I can go to YouTube and bring that up here? Or
Yeah, try it. There's a
copy and paste the link.
I got to find the link. Yeah.
Copy and paste it and put it in a message.
Charles, what's that?
Oh, I thought when you hit the 3 dots down in the lower right corner, there's a menu and it says share a YouTube video. I've never used that.
That's bad. You know, it's so bad. You know, it's horrible. It's best to put a link to the video into the message box, and we can all open it from there. It's much better.
Well, at any rate, I'll try to do all that stuff. But it's an amazing video that he has with that new latest twin timer system. So I got the hot. I flew Frankie's twin 2 weeks ago. I flew Frankie's twin, the little the turning point twin that I designed, and it got my fires all lit. So last night I put the wing in one of my twins, one of the fuselages. I got it all one piece. Well, I get the wing in. So.
I got to see Uncle Jimby's 6-engine stunner.
Oh yeah, I saw the video of that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
cool.
it was.
I've seen that.
He owes me steak dinner because he told me what little motors he was using. He said they'll never pull this airplane. And I said, I guarantee it'll pull that airplane, so it's going to pull your arm out of it. He said, "They want a steak dinner?" I said, "Sure." So he owes me a steak dinner now.
Hey, Rusty.
I just sent
Jimmy prop disc area.
I just sent Jimmy a new lost foam cradle setup and flaps and stabs and elevators for his new twin. He's building a thing called the Doseki. And I thought that was pretty cute.
Yeah.
So he's building a new twin too. You're going to see a lot of twins out there.
Well, it's the prop disc area.
It's more than the disc area. It's the disc span. If you think about it,
what?
Disc span. Your disc area is good too. But disc span, and the reason the disc span is so important, you're covering more of the wing with artificial air blast, with accelerated air. If you're using a single motor airplane, let's say you're using a 12-inch prop, and you got a fuselage that's 2 inches wide, well, you're not getting a whole lot of air blast over the wing off that single prop. But if you put 2 props, in my case, or a 10-inch prop, I'm now getting 20 inches of coverage of the wing with propeller blast, which makes everything work better.
Oh yeah.
Increases the lift. So the weight of a twin, we're going to have to change the paradigm of how we look at all this, because a single motor, you're thinking, well, 65 ounces, 66 ounces is heavy. But on a twin, it's not, because you're getting all that extra air blast and you have more lift. So we have to change our thinking on how much an airplane should weigh for a given size.
I saw a video again. I was there when it happened the first time. Bob Walker's B-17 with 415 Paul Walker, excuse me. And that was a big airplane. I think it weighed 100 close to 100 ounces or something like that. And those 415 hauled that thing at a clip.
Yep, it sure did. Sure did.
That's one of the reasons why the Twin Pathfinder wound up with a pair of 15s.
Yeah, that thing flew great. I flew that airplane at BST one year, and that's really what got me back on the twin project with that airplane. Wow. We got home and I designed an airplane, then I didn't know if it was going to fly like Gordy, so we started comparing notes. And it turns out that within 3/8 of an inch all the way around.
Hey, can you guys hear me, see me?
Yeah, we hear you, but we hear you.
Where are you?
I can see Rusty.
There's Rusty.
I'm all right. You say you can see me, but you can't hear me?
No, we hear you, but we can't see you.
I see you.
Yeah.
We hear you. Just see a big letter
Okay.
R.
Yeah, I don't see me either.
Connection lost.
Real bad connection, though. Both you and Len.
Maybe that's why the
Yeah,
just
I
is
don't
not
see
pulling
it
the
either.
image.
The only reason my connection's bad is because I'm halfway to nowhere.
Rusty dropped.
You run across the river from nowhere.
You guys in Canada don't broadcast very well. I don't see me either.
I don't think people in South Carolina broadcast very well either.
It says participant has stopped the camera.
Well, Bob, I'm watching your twin development. I'm myself am fascinated by twins.
Yeah, they're great.
Me too.
They're great.
Me too.
There's a Blanca racing plane.
You get the one I just put together if you want to see it, man.
Yeah, let's see it.
Yeah.
It's not much to it. It's just a wing and a crutch, you know. Okay.
You know, the problem with that plane, Peter, is that it's too high aspect ratio, and if you don't make it high aspect ratio,
With my camera.
It's I understand that, but it's one of my favorite airplanes.
oh yeah, mine too.
Oh, there we go. Hang on.
Hey, you got better signal that time.
Yeah, now I see the camera, but I don't see the audio.
No, the audio is there, just the camera's not.
Yeah, I know. I see that. Hang on, I'll get it in a second.
Well, it's all there.
No one of them. It must be one of them weird nights. So who can see me? Raise your hand.
I can't tell. You just dropped out.
Jitsi says that your participant has stopped the camera. So you have your camera muted.
All right, hang on. Okay. Well, damn.
Uh-oh.
25 cents.
Yep.
It's like right there. You can mute, unmute. You can leave, or you can start and stop the camera. I don't know.
I got the camera started. I don't have a microphone.
Yes, you do. You have a microphone. That's not a problem. We hear you just fine.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me turn the microphone off. Well, let me just leave and rejoin.
Alrighty.
I can't do any of that right now. I see the twin engine plane. That's what I'm supposed to be seeing, right?
No. I'm just throwing it up there while you're speaking. You know, that's all.
P-38.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure enough, P-38.
I don't see it.
Quite the drawing. The illustration.
Peter's pretty good at that kind of computer work.
All right.
I'll say.
All right, I'm gonna kill this thing and rejoin it.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. You know how they had to, if they had to bail out, you know how they had to do it with that airplane?
Nope.
They'd get on the wing and slide off the wing and try to make sure they got off fast enough they didn't get caught by the horizontal stabilizer. Look at that.
Yeah.
That looks pretty sharp, Bob.
It's just a wing and a fuselage. You really can't tell much.
Oh, it's a nice looking wing.
This is a reverse composite wing.
Ah.
Reverse
band composited against a piece of 3 mil Mylar under pressure, and it makes the finish is on the wing. All it needs is a whisper coat of primer, sand it off with color.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really nice. You're able to core out the inside to almost nothing because it's like a monocoque, you know.
Really?
It's really nice.
So is that going to be a twin then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's got an awful long nose on it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to have more actually when it's all done. You know.
Really?
Wow.
That's
awesome.
Out here, you know.
Yeah, because there's no weight in the nose of that.
Here, the way I build these things, I've learned that you do not mount the nacelle to the airplane. You mount the airplane to the nacelles. There's no way to put nacelles on and line them up on either side and get them right. So what you do is, and I'll have to show you a picture. Let me just hang this up.
Is the battery going to be in the nose, Bob?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't trip.
Careful.
See the
Don't be tripping.
fairly long guy.
That is a very long guy.
Let's see if I can show you a picture.
What's your flap to elevator distance there, Bob?
That's pretty long.
I work on so many airplanes, I don't even know what it is right now.
2 to 1, 2 flaps,
It
1
looks
elevator.
to be about 20 inches. I'd estimate.
It's not that long. 18 and a half, maybe.
Okay.
What am I looking for? Okay, hold on a second. Give me just a second here. I'll show you, if I can find a good shot of it, how you mount the airplane to the nacelle, not the nacelles to the airplane. Yeah, here.
Kind of the way Gordy does it.
Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can get back to it.
Hey, Rusty, you're back. I see you're back. And now I see the icons for the mic and the camera.
Yeah, he's got the mic muted and the video muted.
Uh-oh.
Yep, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
Just said anything.
Hold on a second. I'm doing this. I forgot how to do this.
Well, when Bob's looking there, I'll show you guys this. I don't know if you ever seen it before.
Let me make you big here.
11 plus 2 equals 13. 12 plus
Okay.
1 equals 13. They both got 13 letters in it. And if you rearrange the letters on either one, you can make the other.
Who's
They
what?
make the same exact letter.
Was that new math or what?
Talk about your potential son-in-law and your daughter?
Now, that Kuiper de Graaf, I like to watch all the facts he has about just gravity and how everything works. And that was a fact of his that he noticed. I'm like, how in the hell would you notice something like that?
I know.
Well,
I know back in the 60s and 70s, we kind of went, wow, dude.
I mean, he was talking about gravity, and it's not that there's no gravity in space; it's that you're traveling at the same, you're falling, so that's what makes no gravity. He was telling about how gravity works, which I really still don't understand it all, but it was pretty cool, what he was saying about it.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting this to work, guys.
Hey, something's happening, Bob.
Oh, all right. What do I do now?
Start over.
Oh my God, we're in a wormhole.
Bail out. Bail out.
Go share your own screen.
It was that
Share the other
Kuiper de
one.
Graaf.
Got multiple monitors. Share the other one.
Gravity was taking over there for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what you call video feedback.
Hey guys, I have to go to work tomorrow morning, so I can no longer.
Oh,
stay
you
till 1
can't do.
o'clock.
What are you getting
Oh,
old?
come on, Tryon. You're not that old.
Hey, Tran.
You take care,
Hey,
Tran.
Tony,
Good night, Tryon.
Yeah.
You take care of yourself.
Good night.
Good night.
He's gone.
If he slips up, he lose. If he slips up, he can lose a finger. So
I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Let's see. There's Len. There's Jim. Who's B?
It might be
Bob.
Bob.
Bob, like
Bob's in La La Land.
he muted. He must be off doing something.
There he is.
There he is.
There he
Hey,
is.
John.
Yeah.
What can you told me to get the drywall primer, and there's 2 kinds, PVC and something else. Which one?
It's PVA.
PVA?
PVA primer. Yeah.
That's what
What's
I
that
want.
for?
Polyvinyl acrylic.
Oh, okay.
What's that for?
I got to do the ceilings in my house.
Oh, okay.
I bought a sprayer and stuff, and I'm gonna when they do drywall and they put that coating on there, they mix some kind of paint with it, and then they roll it on and they stomp it out. But it will soak from a previous time. A ceiling like for a bedroom, you think you could paint with a half a gallon.
No
maybe
way.
half
You
gallon.
gotta
Yeah,
prime it
so-
first.
Yeah, so I'm gonna seal it first.
Good idea.
We used to do that. We'd spray a texture called knockdown. I quite don't like it, but it's kind of fallen out of favor. But the best way to do it is you seal it with a PVA primer, and then you spray it on and you let it set. You can go to lunch because it's not going to dry because it's not sucking the moisture out of it. And so you want to firm up though. Then you come up there with a wide knife, about 24 inches wide, and you just go there, just flatten it out just slightly.
Oh, yeah.
And it is
Hey,
gorgeous.
there's Bob.
There's Bob.
There it is.
That's similar to what Gordy does, Bob.
Is there a certain length, Bob, that you got to have the propeller from the wing?
No.
Well,
All
that kinda
right.
looks- is that the new one, Bob? That looks like the old one.
Yeah, that's the old one.
Yeah, his new one's
Awesome.
got the composite wing.
Yeah.
I've seen the new one fly many times. I mean, the old one fly many times, and that's a nice airplane.
That it is.
Bob, you build the sleekest airplanes imaginable.
But there's no reason to have. That's why maybe you can't hear us. Why you'd have the nacelle so long? The only thing you got to get in is just the ESC, right?
Well, I would say.
Oh, your mic's off. That's what's wrong, Bob. Your mic is off.
Uncle Jimby's 6-motor plane has only got like 3 inches from the leading edge, maybe 4.
Am I on now?
Yeah,
There we go.
I hear you now.
It's very short.
The way you determine the length of the nacelle, you build the airplane first, and then you make dummy nacelles and the profile, and you put them on the wing, and you make them longer than is required, and you tape the motor and the prop and the spinner, and put the battery in place where it's going to be, and the nose gear and everything. And you get all the fixed weights where they're going to be in the airplane, and then you balance it and see if the airplane is nose heavy or tail heavy. And what you want to do is keep chopping down the length of the nacelles until the airplane is just slightly nose heavy with everything on. And because you're going to put on more finish after the CG than
All right.
forward
Yep.
of the CG.
Makes
And
sense.
so it's all about balance.
For sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, it works good. Here, I got a picture. Easier to do this way, actually. I don't know if you can see this or not.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see it. That's good.
That's how you mount the airplane to themselves, not the
Okay.
to the airplane.
Yeah,
So you mount those on the table exactly where you want them, and then you just slide the wing into it, right?
Plug the airplane in and
Yeah,
line
the airplane. I'm sorry, that's what I meant. The airplane.
and then
Yeah.
you go, and every one of them we've done that way has worked to perfection.
Right. You've
That's
got to
awesome.
you got to make sure your thrust lines, your everything is all lined
An
up.
alignment. Yeah,
And you
that would do it.
support, you have everything lined up so the thrust line is correct, and
Right.
everything's where you want it. You just slide the airplane in, line the airplane up, and then glue it. It works perfect.
Yep.
Very simple.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Without the plane, how
Yeah,
are you
makes
getting the cells in the right spot? How do you make sure the alignment, one's not in front of the other, or vice versa, and all that?
With that,
How do you get the nacelles right on that? On
well, you
that
mount them on a piece of. You actually make measurements, and you mount them so that they're
Yeah,
perfect
right on the table.
behind each other on this board, and then you just slide the airplane in and have lineup marks all over have this big foam, 2-pound foam, 6-inch thick foam piece. It's very accurately cut, and I'm able to put lineup marks on there, and you can measure until you get everything just dead nuts perfect. Then you just glue the nacelle to the wing.
Okay.
Gordon did something very similar to his little red twin,
Mm-hmm.
as you're doing, but I think he used more incident meters. I think he had like 2 or 3 of them.
I hate incidence meters. I will never use an incidence meter. They don't work. As far as I'm concerned, they do not work.
Well, you're probably building to a different standard than but they.
You put them on 10 times and they get 10 different things.
10 different readings.
They're horrible. So I like measurements, you know.
Measurements are good if you got a good flat surface and everything's set up the way you got it. Yes, measurements.
You got to have it.
Yep. But that's the key to twins or multi-engine.
Got to get it
The
all
key to the key to any airplane. If it isn't straight, it isn't going to fly right.
Yeah.
I figured that out about 8 years ago.
It's even more important on multi-engines.
Oh, I
Well,
bet.
Bob, on the multi-engine, how much more battery do you use? Do you have to have twice the battery too?
I actually use less battery.
Oh, okay.
They're more efficient. Hold on a second. Let me get this. It's an interesting thing, especially with the retracts. The one I flew at the Nationals in 2015 was the 4S. Am I still on here?
Yeah, you're the whole picture.
I guess I asked too many questions and I said, well, you met your limit. Bang, kick my ass right out.
All right. The one I flew in 2015, the one you saw on the table there with the carbon on the wing.
Yeah.
That one had a 4S 4000, and it was 2 power 10 spinning 10-inch props. And it's interesting to know when we built the test bed, and that thing used about 1,800 milliamps per flight, which is nothing.
Wow.
And here's an interesting thing. When we built the test bed twin, the big test bed, it was the same setup. It was a 4S 4000 with 2 power 10s and 10-inch props. And we took it out the first day to fly it. And Buddy and I kind of worked on that together. And we took it out the first day, and he wanted to do everything. He wanted to retract the landing gear and do everything. I said, no, what we're going to do is today we're going to get the motors running right. So we flew it several times and got the motors right. And then I took it home, and I took the batteries that we had used, and I recharged them. And I used 2,400 milliamps out of a 4S. The next day we went out and we retracted the landing gear. Same airplane, same settings on the motors. Came home that night and recharged the batteries. We put in 1,800 milliamps. 25% less power usage than the landing gear retract.
Wow. That is wild. That is wild.
Yeah, that's why I like the retracts, you know. And now with this system we're going to use with the row bars, the lightened row bars and the titanium struts and the little micro servos, we can drop almost 3 ounces out of the system, of the whole system.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be nice.
I think it will be. Yeah.
Yeah. And you do have a good flair for the design on those things. They look good.
Well, I'll show, for people who haven't seen it, I'll show them a picture of the actual one we've been talking about. Hold on a second. Give me just a second here to find the.
Hey, Bob, remember back in the pattern days, coreless servos that you spent like $75 on?
Yeah.
Would have 50-inch pounds of torque, and we thought that was just something.
Yeah.
And now you can get a little dime, or not dime size, but like postage stamp size damn servo that has that much.
Yeah, and get them cheap.
Yeah.
Finding it hard to do this, still finding it hard to get this thing where I want it here.
But I can't believe some of these servos now are like 400-inch ounce.
Yeah.
Like 400. Like, my God.
You put that in a Cessna and fly it.
Yeah, but look at some of the airplanes that they're putting those in, and how the ratio of flap to wing. I mean, instead of being the flap is 20% of the wing or 10% of the wing, it's 25 to 30% of the wing. These 3D airplanes.
Oh, I know.
Wow.
But I just can't believe they can get that much power in a servo that used to have
that
50.
small.
Yeah,
yeah, I know. Me too.
It's actually the 400 ones are the like we used to use for landing gear that had like 80 or something like that. You know, the next size up from standards, but
yeah,
400 and something like that. It still went up over 4 times on power on that size of servo.
Well, I was building a sailplane, and I was trying to find some of the old servos that went in the wings, you know, to handle the ailerons and the flaps. And a buddy of mine looked at me, shook his head, and he said, "What the heck are you doing? We're not back in the 70s." I said, what are you talking about? And he puts this little bitty servo in my hand. It's like this big, and it's 1/4 inch thick. And he says, this has more power than those Aerotronics you're looking for have ever thought about having.
Yeah.
They got metal gears. They're coreless. They're great. He said, here. He said, I'll get you 3 more of them. Put those in your plane and try it. So, well, I had to redesign the whole bay to get these little bitty servos in there. They got lost in the spot that these other servos were going to go in.
Wow.
4 of these things weighed one, right? I think it was 5 grams off of 4 grams off of what one of the old servos weighed. They're more powerful. They use less power, and you put them in there and they just don't add anything, and they get lost in the bay. But man, they handle those flaps. You put that thing, you crow mix that sucker, and it just stops and comes down and you just walk out there and just catch it. Put in your hand, just catch it, and everybody's just, how do you do that? And I said, it's just the way these planes work. But I fly wood crafters. I can't get into the moldies. I just can't bring myself to spend that kind of money. That just
I got some with titanium gears on them.
Yeah.
And they ain't supposed to, they're not supposed to do that wear pattern or whatever like the metal gear do, but
yeah.
A little bit more pricey, but even at like $100 a servo, from what I mean, in the 80s, I was paying $75 for a servo, and $75 was a lot more money back in the 80s than it is today.
Yeah, really. Yeah, but when I'm talking, these things are like $20 a piece.
Oh, I know it.
And it just blows my mind. $20, and what's in his airplane are $5 a piece at the hobby shop. And he says these aren't metal geared, but he says my airplane don't generate the kind of power you do. But he don't do the stuff I do either.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to believe that. I wish somebody would come out. I'm going to have a friend of mine try to print them on his 3D printer.
Yeah.
Well, what I want him to do is to print, because I got a bunch of old airplanes with the big servo. And to use the small ones that are digital and stuff, I want him to print out a deal I can screw down in the wing and then put the new servo, screw that into that. And I don't know why anybody hasn't came up with, but I can't find anything like that.
I ended up I had the same problem, and I just made a plywood plate and screwed the new servos into it. Because that's
what we've been doing, but I thought I was going to have him, print up that and make it a whole lot easier.
Yeah. Tell you what's wild though, you go out there with a multi-channel plane that used to have, like I've got a Maestro Megan. This thing used to have all kinds of mixers inside of it that were mechanical. And it's just a real headache to get all that stuff working and lubed up and just keep it clean, keep it working right. Well, I took about 20 years, I didn't fly sailplanes, and I came back to it and looked at that thing, and I thought, why am I doing this? Because then, hey,
thank you.
So, bless you. So I took all this stuff apart and put 7 servos in this thing. It works much better than it ever did, and it's 4 ounces lighter than it used to be. And there's the second wind.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Jerry brought that thing to Huntersville, and that was the most beautiful airplane. I was just fascinated when the gear came up. Everybody says, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, that was a big thing for me. Everybody at the Nationals, when I brought it out there, they said, "I love it when the gear comes up." I said, "Yeah, well, I like it when the gear comes down."
Yeah, that's what I was kind of relieved me when the gear came back down.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a pretty airplane.
Now that wing, your own design wing, Bob?
What's that?
On that wing, is the wing design, is that your own design, that wing?
Actually, it's a derivative of the Europa wing, which was a derivative of the Caprice wing.
Oh gosh!
Then did it and put a cuff section like a Mustang section with a double taper wing, and I figured to make it as hard as I could possibly make it to build. It took me 7 years to build that airplane.
Yeah,
Wow.
Bob, your ears should have been burning the other night. I recall we were having a discussion about foam wings and built-up foam wings, and had to be. I don't know if it was had to be around the SV11, or I don't recall the exact conversation we were having. But your ears should have been burning at that point.
Yeah, well, my ears burn a lot.
Well, mine ring. Mine just ring. Lord have mercy.
Is it still bothering the oh, hang on a second. It's rusty.
Bob, I remember somebody bringing the mock-up twin to Brodak, and he crashed it.
Yeah, it was Joel Costantino.
Looked like it absolutely exploded. All these foam beads going every which way.
Well, he's got it flying again. He's been flying it.
Yeah, it just made me sick when he crashed it. That was such a pretty airplane. Even, I mean, it's not really, if you think of it, it's not really beautiful, but it's just so neat.
Yeah, it was built for like a week.
A week?
A week and a half, something like that, yeah.
Good gosh.
Yeah, Buddy Weeder and I, we actually had the whole crew up here, like the Skunk Works. We had Frankie Umbriaco here, you do this, and Buddy, you do that, I'll do the wing, you know. And we needed a test bed, you know. And again, I'm having a hard time showing putting the views up on, because I have pictures of that one too. Definitely, everybody's seen that one. That was a good airplane. Still
I want to see that the second one. I hope somebody will buy it. I don't know who ended up with it, but I hope whoever does it'll finish it and fly it. That'd be nice to see.
I almost bought it back, but it's just too big. You know, I figured we'd have a lot more. I mean, it was plenty of thrust. I mean, Buddy made the top 20 with that airplane at the Nationals in 2015. So it really was a good airplane, but I think that a slightly smaller airplane with that kind of power flies better. So,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think one of the reasons why Gordon's little red twin was a little red twin was because he got so sick and tired of. You remember his Gemini twin?
Yeah, my arm still hurts.
Yeah. And that's what he said. He said, you know, he's getting older. He said he can't hang on to it, he can't finesse it because it's just pulled too darn hard.
I'm not kidding you. I flew that airplane, and for 3 months later, my arm hurt.
Yeah.
It pulled the tendons and everything in my arm. Mine never pulled that hard. You know, I set them up so they don't pull that hard.
You know who has that plane now? Bruce up in
Perry.
Yeah. Perry, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I saw the video of his Too Much flying. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty airplane, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is a pretty airplane. Is that the red one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
It is a pretty airplane.
The red or is it orange?
Kind of reddish orange.
Well, it's reddish orange.
Yeah.
So, Bob, when you get this new airplane done, you're going to go back to the retro colors?
Bronze?
Yeah, copper.
I don't
know where we kept saying it was copper.
I'm thinking about doing it in a pseudo military scheme. Anybody know the Texan 2, which is not a Texan? It's actually a Brazilian airplane. I forgot the name of it. Tucano. And the American Air Force had one called the Texan 2, a variant of that, and they had a blue and white paint scheme on it that was just gorgeous. So I'm thinking about using that paint scheme on it. It would really fit it nicely.
That'd be neat.
Yeah. Turbo Tucano. Yeah.
You got to go back and do a retro airplane.
I only got so many left in me, dude. But
you and Sparky built more than the rest
the
of us
older we
together.
get, we have to be more selective.
yeah, Sparky seems to be able to turn them out like every couple of days, but I can't do that. You know?
Well, maybe with this new wing technique you've got there, that molded whatever, maybe that'll help.
It's not really a molding; it's a reverse composite. You know, it dawned on me that a composite wing. Everybody thinks of a composite wing as being laid up in a female mold. Well, that's one way of doing it. You know, a composite doesn't mean, you know, what kind of mold it's in. Composite just means that its materials composited together.
Mm-hmm.
And it dawned on me that, you know, if you built a composite wing in a female mold, you got to make the female mold. And those generally have to be CNC machined out of a big piece of aluminum, which is about $3,000 or $4,000 worth of material, you know, when you get all done. And you only get one wing. You know, you get one design.
Yeah, exactly.
but it dawned on me that you can composite to a regular foam wing. You cut and cover a foam wing, and you cover it with like real thin wood, like 1/32, and then you composite silk span or polyspan or newspaper or whatever you want to put on it. You composite it under pressure against Mylar, and you do it upside down. So the saturated silk span, you saturate it with epoxy, heat it, and scrape off all the excess. Put it upside down in the cradle against a piece of 3mm Mylar, and all the epoxy will go out against the Mylar. And then you, after 24 hours, you peel the Mylar off, lightly sand it, you're ready for finish. And then you can pour out the inside of the wing to almost nothing, like 3/32 wall thickness, because you don't need you have a monocoque supporting the structure.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of
work to perfection.
Jim Smith is saying, but he's not even using the silk span now. He's just using the epoxy like they would in a mold. You know, epoxy, then the.
That's not really a composite. That's just. I mean, if it works, it's good. You know, it's fine. But I like compositing something to it to give it, you know, a skin. You know, to give it a shell, like an egg. You know.
That's really neat.
And it works great. It really does.
You gonna do a booklet on this? Show us how to do it.
Well, the only problem with it is that you can't core the wing out before you do this, because when you put it under 400 pounds of pressure, if it's already cored out, it's going to collapse.
You
have to do it and stand the outside and then core out the inside. So people would have to get the wing, do it, and then send it back to me for coring, or they'd have to have their own equipment to core it out.
Now, are you putting a structure inside the wing? For
no structure inside. All I'm doing is 2 integral foam spars. I'm pouring it out in 3 sections like we normally do.
Yeah.
Leaving the 2. I have a spar in the one foam spar in the front. I have a fold-up light ply spar with balls and caps on it, and then I just leave 2 integral foam spars to support the airfoil. But I take where you leave a 1/4 inch wall or so.
Yeah.
I can take it down to 3/32 or less.
Wow.
You take all the foam out.
Oh,
And it really is it's like an eggshell, but it's real. That's how the one here behind me, that on the wall, that's done that way. That's like an eggshell that way, but it's really strong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This one isn't going to take 4 years to finish, is it, Bob?
I hope not. I don't think I'll be around for 4 more years.
Yes, you will.
Hey, come on,
yes,
man.
you will.
Yeah.
You got to stick around a while, Bob. You ain't that old yet.
It has nothing to do with age. It has to do with miles.
Yeah,
It's not the age; it's the mileage. That's right.
That's been my saying for many years, because I was national service tech for a long time, and I've been all over the world fixing machines. And everybody always told me, "You look tired. What's the matter? You're not that old." I said, "Yeah, well, with me, it's not the age; it's the mileage that's killing me." It's bad, but I tell you, that you got to stick around. We just lost one of our movers and shakers last week. Bill Mandakis passed last Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just took the steam out of everybody locally. It's really Tom Looper and a bunch of us is really. Bill could drive you absolutely. If you met him at VSC, or you met him, well, he didn't go to VSC, but he went to Hangout every year.
Yeah.
If you met him, Bill could frustrate the absolute crap out of you. But 10 minutes later, you wanted to praise him. He was just one of the most amazing people I'd ever met. He was an engineer, and he'd do things that just, Bill, what were you thinking? But then 5 minutes later, he's done something for you, and you couldn't help but love the guy. But he could drive you crazy in ways that nobody else could, and then do something for you that made you just want to, come on, Bill, let's get this fixed.
We lost another too. We lost Charlie Mackey, you know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he passed away.
Oh, shucks.
I mean,
I met him at VSC. He was a lot of fun.
Great guy.
I mean, on Facebook, we have, all the kids from school and shit. And I just can't believe how many guys are dying off my age. I'm 61. But I mean, now we're losing even people that age at 3 or 4 a year. You know.
I graduated from high school in '74, and we have. I've been I'm one of the ones keeping up with how many have passed. We lost 2 graduation night to car wrecks.
See what you're doing right now, Steve?
But Lord, they're falling like rocks now.
What's that?
What you?
Yeah.
That's why you're not gonna make 74.
I don't know.
Stop smoking.
My grandma chewed, or she dipped snuff till she was way up in her 80s, and they said that was going to kill her.
My mother died from cigarette smoke, and so did my mother-in-law, and so did my brother-in-law. So,
but yeah, I mean, I've already had cancer twice, so
I see you learned from it.
Well, I figure, it's just like when I got prostate cancer. I told the doctor I'd have been a lot more careful if I knew I could have wore that out.
Never too late to start being careful.
That's true.
Today's
the first day of the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I don't smoke, drink, and curse. I have other vices.
But I feel I'm doing pretty good. They only gave me 7 years, and I made it 20. So I'm on borrowed time.
If you can't pay the doctor's bill, he gives you 20 more.
Son, we're all on borrowed time. Let me tell you.
I
mean, God didn't promise none of us tomorrow.
Well, that's like I told my doctor. I said, when they gave me 7 years, up to 7 years, the 7 years started getting closer and closer, and I was at 6 years. I'm thinking I only got another year and shit, and I made 7, then I made 8, and I'm like, that was kind of shitty to do to me.
I never want to think I only got 1 year left. I want to think I got 20 forever, 30, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
I love life.
I love to ride bicycles, and I get out and I still think I can do the things I did at 40. My body tells me, no, sucker, that ain't happening. But I keep trying.
I got up this morning. I laid ceramic tile all day today until 10 o'clock tonight.
Ooh.
You
No crazy or what?
You should stick to your wife.
What's that?
He said you laid ceramic tile all day today. I said stick to your wife.
Guys, it's 12:20. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, me too. I think I'm gonna head out of here. But
wings,
guys, hopefully we'll see y'all Friday night. And
you betcha.
Everybody try to stay out of trouble and have a great week.
He would have been on here for a little longer tonight.
Yeah. Bob, good to see you, buddy. You take care of yourself.
Glad to see you back.
I'm not sure I'll be able to come back for a while, but I'll try
back when you can.
Yeah, I'll try to keep posting on Stunthangar the progress on this new twin, because there's a lot of new thinking in this one, and I think it's going to be a nice airplane.
Hey, with your retracts, one question: are you using 2 servos, or are you using just one?
I'm going to use 3 servos, 1 for each unit.
Oh, brother.
The total weight of the unit with the servo, the retract unit, and the strut and the wheel is going to be 3 ounces less than it was with the retracts. With the
you're pulling the rear. You're pulling the rear landing gear too.
I'm doing tricycle. So the main.
Oh, okay. I get it.
The mains go forward into the nacelle, and the nose goes back. So they kind of do this.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It worked. It never did not work, but I didn't put that many flights on the airplane. Everybody thinks that airplane flew for a long time. That's when I had the back problem, when I was flat on my back for 5 weeks or something, and I got up, finally got prednisone and I could work, and I finished the airplane up and put 2 flights on it and went to the Nationals. And when I came back from the Nats that year, there were 17 flights on the airplane.
Good grief.
17 flights.
You flew 15 flights one day this year, didn't you?
Yeah, a lot more than that one day. Yeah, I put 137 flights on the Crossfire in less than a week.
Wow,
that's a lot of flying.
I tried to get it working really. I tried to get everything up into speed. I had everything working pretty good, but then the fatigue got to me. I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, but you're the guy that's famous for showing up at a contest with a plane that's only got a few flights on it and doing well.
Everybody says that, but nobody sees me at the practice circles flying. They think I just don't practice, but I practice a lot, I let people believe what they want to believe, but it kind of feeds the the program. Hey, he can show up and not fly at all and do well. It's not the case. You got to go out and practice.
Yeah.
And with Robbie, I got Robbie here now, and he wants to go out.
Robbie's back flying.
Oh yeah, he's been flying for a while.
He's
not flying at local contests or anything, but he's getting ready to fly at the team selection next year.
Good deal. Good deal.
So we go out
Glad
all
to hear. Glad to hear that.
He's the toughest coach in the world. I mean, he won't give you anything. If you do something good, he won't say a word. But if you do something bad, he'll tell you.
Him and Luke ought to get together.
Well, that's what a coach should do. He's not going to pat you on the back for what you do well. He's going to tell you what you need to improve. He's a good coach. He's
true.
tough. So anyway,
I got a good coach then. Y'all be careful. Have a good one.
You have a good night, and if Rusty comes back on, tell him I said hey.
Hey Bob, sorry about that. Rusty, I was just talking to Rusty. He's having difficulty getting in, and so maybe hopefully he can get in another time. But he's having difficulty getting in. I was trying to talk him into it, and just having difficulty. So.
Now you're taking this over to run this thing now?
Yeah, that's what that's part of what we wanted to talk about, and I really don't want to speak for Rusty. I want Rusty to speak for himself.
Right. Well,
but anyways, I know he tried to get in, and he's had a real difficult day. So it's just and computer problems too on top of that. So
yeah.
But anyways, guys, we've had a really good show. Right now we have 10 viewers. Had some conversations earlier in the chat. Bill Cole, he decided to just watch instead of coming into the show today. And but besides that, we've had some good conversation. And we were going to try
I would just like to see Bob on here a little bit more often, but Bob's got to do what he's got to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting to the point where sleep is important.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, sleep and food and what else?
Airplanes.
And
airplanes. That's right. Sleep, food, and model airplanes. That's all any of us.
And then repeat.
Yeah.
And then repeat. Yeah. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, fair winds and tight lines.
I got to get up early in the morning and walk my doggy, and so.
Sure, I understand that. That's absolutely. Well, anyways, hey, we're gonna just close the show out. You guys can continue to talk. Those who want to stay around can stick around. I'm just gonna end the stream to YouTube, and for sure, God willing, we'll see you all again Friday night. Same bat time, same bat channel, and
yeah, we have to wait. We have to wait until John comes back.
Well, he can turn off.
John left and came back. He said he's gonna come back, or was he saying goodnight?
Well, he's still there. I mean, he's not sitting.
Oh
there.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So
it ain't gonna turn off the feed. It's just gonna turn off YouTube.
Right, exactly.
At our age, when you have to go use the facility, sometimes it takes a while.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's true. I can vouch for that too. So, anyways, I'm gonna close the stream, but you guys continue to talk. I'm gonna go visit my family. They're probably wondering where I've been for the last 3 hours. They know where I've been, but they miss me. So I'm gonna go see them. It's only 9:30 out here in California, so it's not a late night for us.
Yeah, it's 12.
But anyways, you guys, thanks for coming in, and we will try this again. And I'll see you then. All right. I'm gonna stop.
Thanks for running the show, Charles.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, you might have to get used to this face.
It's all right.
Ain't no getting used to that, Charles, but we still like talking to you.
Thank you.
Good night, man.
All right.
Take it easy.